Hi there, Science 10s. I just wanted to go through today with you guys a little bit about what I talked about on our Tuesday meeting on today, April the 21st. Just reviewing a little bit about naming ionic compounds. So I just kind of went through, only two people were at the meet today, and so I just wanted to make sure you guys are understanding things from helping you guys move forward onto our chemistry stuff in this unit in Science 10. So just a reminder that for ionic compounds, the metal is named first and the non-metal is second, and its name has to change to an IDE ending. So for instance, if you were given this formula CaO, here's a formula, and notice it has a state, right? The state is solid. So a lot of you guys lost marks by not including a state for part of the formula. And so please make sure that you include the state. So on the left-hand side, there is a metal. And we go, and again, it's left side of the staircase. We go look it up. It's group 2. And so we see that its name is calcium. So reminder again, you guys have your periodic table, and so you look up and you got to find where is calcium. Okay, so remember, here's the staircase. Everybody to the left of the staircase is going to be a metal. So here he is here. He's a group 2 ion. That's why he has a 2+ charge. He's lost 2 electrons to make that 2 positive charge. So calcium is the name of this ion. And then we are going to look at the nonmetal, who will be on the right side of the staircase. He's in group 16. And so let's take a look at him when we go to our periodic table, group 16. And these guys are to the right of the staircase. Here we go. Oxygen is going to become oxide, but problem. There's no charge listed for him, right? There's just O, and it just says nothing. So how do you figure out what charge he has? You look up here to the group, right? And so the group is 16. This last digit, this number 6, tells you that there's 6 electrons in the outer energy level. So you add 2 electrons to make 8. Remember, 8 is the magic number. That's a full octet. So we know this is O2 minus ion. This is oxide. So group 16 ion atoms, are going to gain 2 electrons to make a 2 negative anion, a negatively charged anion. So that's how we come up with the name, right? When we're looking at the name of this, the oxygen, we don't name it calcium oxygen, we change it to calcium oxide. And remember, there are no capital letters, small c, small o. A lot of you guys are capitalizing. You do not do that. Only the elements need capital letters. Okay, so what if it's the other way around? What if you are given the name? So here's our metal, potassium, our non-metal. Well, it ends in IDE. So there's no capital letters in the name. Our metal, we look up on the periodic table. He is potassium, K. Phosphorus is the phosphide ion. And again, there's no charge listed, but you look up and you say, oh, he's in group 15, so he must be a 3 negative charge. Potassium, group 1, has lost 1 electron to make a positive, 1 positive cation. And so now you have to make these charges equal, right? The charges right now are not equal. You have a 1 positive and 3 negative. Those numbers don't add up to 0. So you need a multiplier. You've got to times the potassium by 3. That number becomes the subscript in the formula. The phosphorus, phosphide ion, times 1, that goes here, but we just don't write that. We write just K3P, and don't forget your state. Remember, all ionic compounds are solid. So a lot of students lost marks for not writing their states. Okay, so what's going on this week in Science 10? Well, I have a couple of videos for you. There's one on how to name multivalent, the transition metals, the guys that are kind of in the middle of the periodic table. So just looking at these guys, a bunch of these guys kind of in the middle here, you will notice that they have more than 1 ion charge. These transition metals are called multivalent, as opposed to these guys that you're already familiar with. They just only have one charge. So like calcium, only one charge, 2 positive. Aluminum, only one charge, 3 positive. So that guy's univalent. Univalent, univalent. Because these guys have more than one charge, we call them multivalent. Multi meaning more than one. So you guys are going to learn how to name those compounds, okay? Learn how to name those transition metals. Then you'll do some practice. Now, remember, after you do your practice problems in your ionic compounds notes guide, please check your answers. Be very thorough about checking your answers. Then I have a YouTube video going through how do I tell apart uni and multivalent ions. Then there's a video on how to name polyatomics. That's by another different teacher, not myself. And then you do a couple of questions in the naming ionic compounds, and those are on polyatomics. Remember, you need to check your work very carefully because you have 2 assignments to do this week. You've got a uni versus multivalent naming your assignment. Now, for every time we're looking at a metal now, you got to ask yourself, is it univalent or is it multivalent, right? And that's going to determine how you're going to write the name. So magnesium, univalent. Copper, 2 different ion charges. He's multivalent. Silver, whoa, he's down in kind of that transition area, but he's only got 1 ion charge, so he's univalent. Okay, so you guys have to be able to recognize, how do I know, is it uni or multivalent ion? And that comes into play when also you are looking at naming, right? Silver is univalent, so we just name him silver. Phosphide, we know, is a group 15 nonmetal, and as opposed to phosphate. Well, now this is new, isn't it? Look at this. This is an ATE ending. So this is not on my periodic table. This is something very different. This is now in a special table called my table of polyatomic ions. And so when I look this up, I notice on my data booklet, on my periodic table, here's this special table that has a listing of these ions that have more than 1 atom. So the example I just used for you, PO4 3 minus. So that tells you that there is 1 phosphorus, P1, and there are 4 oxygen atoms, 4 O's, and all of them, so that's 5 atoms together, 2 separate, a phosphorus and an oxygen, 5 atoms, 4 O's, 1 P, they all share this 3 negative charge. So here's where your polyatomic table is, and you guys will be using that quite a bit, and so you'll be needing your data booklet. I've copied that for you guys as well if you left it at school. Okay, and so I've got a copy for you there, and these polyatomic ions, they all have ion charges, 1 positive or negative or 2 negative or 3 negative, but they all have more than 1 atom. Okay, and so you guys are going to have to learn how to name them. Oops, sorry. So this polyatomic PO4 3 minus, silver is a univalent. I times him by 3, this guy times by 1. And here is my correct formula, Ag3 PO4, and he is a solid. Okay, so you will have a polyatomics naming assignment. And again, you're going to have to learn to recognize these polyatomics. And they have a special table, a table of common polyatomic ions that you will be looking them up in. Okay, so if you're having any questions or problems, just let me know. Both assessments this week are formative. We don't have a summative until next week. If you have any questions, michelle.ledeen@ghsd75.ca. All right, take care. Talk to you later.